Yo, what's up epic gamers? My name is Fox and welcome to another video guide of mine. In this video, we're gonna go over the mechanics of Eden's Gate Sepulture Savage, also called E4S. I'm gonna try my very best to explain you the mechanics as good as possible. If you rather fancy a written guide, there's gonna be one in the video description. Now, before to start off, make sure to bring good gear, because you will face a tight DPS check, and make 2 groups composed of a tank, a healer, and 2 DPS and assign them east and west. You can also place some markers. We had them on the intercardinals, and we had 1 and 2 north and south, but this is up to you. There's no mandatory markers for this fight, really, to be honest. Anyway, then let's just jump right into it. Titan greets you with a tank buster called Stone Crusher, where he literally steps on the tank 3 times. Now, in between those 3 times, it applies a physical vuln up for around 2 to 3 seconds. So the intended mechanic was that the off tank would voke after the first hit, and then the main tank vokes back. We just use our invuln, pretty simple, right? Every gamer now gets marked with a yellow triangle marker. This marker means that you are not allowed to stack on the same tile as someone else. Basically, everyone has to spread out and wait for the marker to disappear. This marker will reoccur several times throughout the encounter, so make sure you know how to handle it. This time, just spread around and make sure not to overlap with anyone else. During this though, you'll have Evil Earth. As you can see, one of the platforms or tiles light up orange, but every tile around it will also be hit by the same. So basically you gotta look for the safe spot here, which is 2 patterns that are mirrored, and that's about it. So you run to the edge, you wait until the blue lights up, and then you move into the blue light AoE basically that you just saw. After that, you will get the orange markers above your head, which will always indicate to stack with at least 1 other person. You can have 4 pairs of 2 or 2 pairs of 4, how we did it. But this is basically what the red marker means. Make sure to remember that, as this one will also come back several times throughout this encounter. Again, look for the safe spot, move into the blue, and then stack. This is followed by a raid wight called Voice of the Land. Heal up and mitigate as necessary. By the way, make sure to check with your healers when they want your mitigation tools. As you can see, our Gunbreaker used Heart of Light and I used Shield Samba. It's very important to map out the mitigation tools throughout the whole encounter, as there is lots of AoE damage that will hurt your group. The Titan then casts Geo Crush. Basically, he jumps to a platform and knocks back everyone pretty far. Now, I suggest you use Armed Flanks or Surecast, but there is a pattern where it won't be up for the 2nd time he does it. So you need to learn how to get knocked back without falling off the platform. Basically, you have to stand inside of the tile to get knocked back, but not too far. So make sure you are inside the tile if you decide not to use Surecast on this. After Geo Crush, Titan will transform into either Landslide Titan or Card Titan. In our video, it's gonna be Card Titan first, so I'm gonna go over those mechanics also now at first. Basically, Titan starts up his engine and he will dash in a straight line, overrunning everyone in front of him and knocking back everything on the sides. So there's a few rules to follow. Number 1, check which side is safe, which side has 2 tiles to the back, because that's your safe side. Number 2, every gamer gets a marker, 3 yellow markers and 5 red markers. Now here's a picture on how we handled the spread for this mechanic. This worked out for us without problems, so make sure to assign these positions to your DPS, healers and tanks, because it's very, very important. After the knockback, you have to move out of the tile because there will be damage and you will die. So this is very important. Get knocked back, move out. This is not everything though. Titan will then cast Fault Line, where he dashes to the main tank. Yes, the main tank. So be very careful for the position of your main tank. Put a marker on them, but have the main tank basically safe sprint and run as far away from the group as possible, but not too close to Titan, because this does proximity damage. You can also use an invuln here to handle this mechanic by having the tank dash towards Titan immediately and invuln it, or he stands in a straight line and the party is to spread around him. You can handle this however you want. Check out the pictures and yeah, that's about it. After the dash, fault line, Titan will then cast Magnitude 5.0, which is basically a dynamo mechanic. Make sure to get under him, but at the same time, every gamer gets a yellow marker. So after Magnitude 5.0 has resolved, you have to spread out on the arena, leave space for the melees if you're ranged, and the ranged just basically go outside. That's about it. This concludes the Titan card phase. Now remember, this can also be second and you will get the Landslide phase first, but I'll cover that one later. Now we'll get to all the stuff that Titan will do in between those two phases. In between the two phases, Titan will start casting Crumbling Down. Two gamers, which will always be one tank or healer plus one DPS, will get a marker indicating that they have to place big boulders on the edge of the arena. These will leave behind very hard-hitting AoEs, so make sure to mitigate through this as necessary. This happens another time, so basically we started to put the first two boulders on the northeast and northwest corner, and the second set on the southeast and the southwest corner. During the same time though, you have three vertical lines of small boulders falling down, and then you have to dodge from the safe boulder that will remain from your initial drop down boulder into the boulders, the small ones that exploded. This is a bit tricky to be honest, because the timing can be very tight depending on your pattern, but you can manage it. It just really requires good timing, and that's about it. Now I made also some handy pictures here, so check them out, and I will of course show you again in the clip how to handle this mechanic. Overall it's not too hard, and even if you fail it, you will only get a damage down and a slight less healing potency, but it's not the end of the world. After you've handled this mechanic correctly, Titan will just cast Voice of the Land and Stone Crusher, so make sure to handle those two mechanics as you did before and heal as necessary. Now Titan is gonna perform Geo Crush again like before, just this time he will transform into Landslide Titan. But here you have also a nice POV of how to handle the knockback without Shorecast basically. Now let's go over the mechanics of Landslide Titan. Landslide Titan is basically the opposite of Card Titan. Instead of being on the side, you have to be in a straight line in front of him, because he will hit both sides with a landslide. Again, 5 gamers will get a stack marker and 3 gamers will get a spread marker. So make sure to use, again, the same positions as you do for the card position in terms of spreading. The melee close to the boss, tank in the middle, and healer on the outside. After this, make sure to move out of the initial line as it will become unsafe. To make the upcoming mechanic a bit easier, I suggest that the main tank brings Titan back to the middle of the arena. He will start casting Landslide and face a certain direction, which is really important because this will indicate your safe spots for this Landslide cast. Basically, on the picture, Landslide is gonna be on the whole north of the arena and behind him. Titan faces north, so your safe spots are southeast and southwest 2 squares. Now just look at the clip and see how to execute this. During all of this, you'll have boulders again drop from the sky. But this time around it's much simpler. Basically, you will always have to move inside of the landslide that Titan will cast and then go to the boulder that will explode last. So you move from the late boulder into the exploding boulder, and that's about it. congratulations, you now have basically finished all the mechanics of phase 1 of Titan, right? Basically, you should be able to push him until like 70% of health before he swaps into the next phase with an epic transition that you can enjoy right now here. So if you don't want to get spoiled, you should really turn off. But yeah, that's about it. And now I'm going to go over the mechanics of the second phase, of course, too.
Good job.
Oh, yes.
Wait, what? That's it? That's it? Let's go, let's go! Look at this!
Let's go!
Oh my god!
Oh, let's go, dude!
Holy!
Oh my god!
What? That's so sick!
Nuts are huge!
What the? He's so big! He's so big, dude!
He has
Keep
a
going,
beautiful
keep
smile.
Go, go, go!
Look at those
I
pearly
did.
whites. Okay.
AoE.
AoE.
I felt like including a clip from when my group made it the first time to the transition, so yeah, that was pretty funny. Well, anyway, welcome to the big boy now. As you can see, Titan grew a bit bigger, and yeah, we'll have a few new mechanics, quite a lot actually. But we'll start off with a big hard-hitting AoE called Earthen Fury, so make sure to heal as needed. After this, you'll have the first mechanic that will repeat several times in this fight, so make sure to learn it appropriately. Basically, Titan starts casting Earthen Fist. He puts both of his fists together and starts charging them. One of the two sides will then line up, basically. You can see how the left side has a glowing aura around it, and then you can see how the right side also has a glowing aura around it. Basically, this will indicate that he will first slap the left side of the arena and then the right side of the arena. This can also be double left or double right. Make sure to pay attention on how he charges his fists and what he's gonna punch first. This is followed by small AoEs on different tiles, so make sure to dodge accordingly. The upcoming mechanic will introduce a new marker. It looks like a blue pyramid basically, and what it does is basically that the 3 tiles around the one you are standing will be lighting up with a blue damaging AoE, right? Now on top of that, you also get a magic vulnerability debuff, so if you stack this with any other marker, yellow or red one, you will definitely die, so make sure to keep that in mind. Dual Earthen Fist will basically place a huge blue AoE in the top center of the arena and will knock back anyone in the arena. Now the way we handled this mechanic is that we split the party into 4 groups basically. The 2 tanks are solo on each side, on the northwest and northeast side, and surecast, well rather arm's length the knockback so they don't get knocked off the arena, because they're gonna take a big AoE tank buster after the knockback. Putting them with the group is very risky and I would not suggest this. The blue marker goes to the southwest corner and will then get knocked back into the southwest corner and have his marker explode there. You can also surecast this or arm's length this mechanic, but it's a bit riskier to clip someone else from the group. It should work out though. Then you have the remaining people of the group, which are just gonna get knocked back into the southeast corner. And that's about it. Titan then follows up with a cast called Megalith. This is a stack marker with a twist. It's only for tanks. If you stack in this as a non-tank, you will die definitely. So have the 2 tanks stack in this and mitigate appropriately. Now we're gonna get to a really cool part. Basically, Titan starts casting Tectonic Uplift. Make sure to have 2 groups ready, which are now different from the ones I mentioned before. This is gonna be the 2 tanks and 2 healers together in one group, and the rest will be all DPS. Have all DPS go to the north side of the map and all the healers and tank to the south side of the map. If you get a blue marker, you will not move into the lightning AoE, but instead you will go to the edge of the safe arena that will not get knocked up. This will always be on one of the tanks or healers and on one of the DPS. All other 6 gamers should get knocked up. After the 2 platforms got elevated, you will find that on the bottom part there will be few orange AoEs. Now this is very important how many orange AoEs there are. One of the two, south or north, will have one single orange AoE and one will have two orange AoEs. This is very, very important, so make sure to look out for this. The 6 remaining elevator players will now all get markers. 2 yellow, 2 red and 2 blue. In order to execute the upcoming mechanic properly, you have to look for the safe spot as mentioned before and then move accordingly. If you are a DPS with a yellow marker, you move to the north platform that is down. If you are a healer with a yellow marker, you move to the south platform that is down. If you are a gamer with a orange marker, you move to the one that has one more safe spot, which can be either south or north. If you are a gamer with a blue marker, you just stay on top and move to the edge in order to not clip your other gamer friends. Here just a small picture of how this should look like if executed properly. After all the markers have resolved, make sure to move back into the middle so you can get all the AoE heals because Earthen Fury is about to happen. Now we'll get to a pretty cool new animation and a new mechanic called Rock Throw. Basically what now is going to happen is that your 2 healers are going to get put into jails and Titan will start destroying the platforms. Now the 2 things you need to look out for is that the 2 jails need to be separated, otherwise they will gain a buff and won't be able to destroy. And for Titan's animation to see which platform he will slap first. Once you determined where Titan will strike first, you move to the other side and will put your jails north and south on that side. Basically, if like in the video he will slap the left side first, you will put your jails on the right side of the map. The way that Titan will always punch the first 2 tiles will be, for example, northeast followed by northwest. If it's southeast, the next one will be southwest. He will always punch the one that is horizontal to the one that he just punched. 2 things to note. The first is that the last platform is completely random, so he might destroy the one on the left side or the right side of the 2 that are remaining. Number 2 is that there's been a strat going around where you range LB the 2 jails. I sadly have no video footage of this because my group didn't do that, but apparently that is the better way. So you place the jails in a line and hit them with your ranged LB2. This phase is just followed by lots of AoE damage by Voice of the Land and the Tumults. Make sure to heal appropriately. Titan should now be around 47% of his health. We'll now see the first repeat of a few mechanics. For example, dual Earthen Fists will now happen again. This is then followed by Earthen Fist, but we'll also have Evil Earth happening at the same time. Evil Earth is again the small AoE that will expand all over the field. Luckily for us, there's only 8 possible patterns. Evil Earth will always be in the middle quadrant basically. This is paired then with either a punch on the left side then right side, or right side then left side, or double right and double left. I have 4 pictures here to show you all the examples. They can also be mirrored, but that's about it. Dodge accordingly. Now it's time to get back to the initial form groups of 1 tank, 1 healer and 2 DPS each. We refer to them as Leviathan Groups because we use the same groups in E3 Savage. Titan casts again Tectonic Uplift, but this time every gamer needs to rise up. Split up to the east and the west with the 2 groups and make sure to stack on 1 tile, preferably the middle one, and get knocked up. Following this, the 2 healers again will get put into the jails. Place a jail on the outside tiles so that everyone though can hit them from melee range. Make sure they are really in range to be hit by everyone. The idea behind the split of the groups is so that you have evenly distributed damage with 2 DPS, 1 tank on every group basically. After you killed the jails, either the healers or the tanks will both get a blue marker and have to move down into the corner in order for it to be safe. Again, we'll now have a similar situation as before, where one of the 2 lower platforms will be a safe spot by having more safe spots than the other one. But this time it's 2 safe spots versus 1 safe spot. Because now we'll have the remaining 4 DPS all getting a red stack marker and the 2 healers getting the blue pyramid marker. So basically the 2 healers stay up, go to the corners, and the DPS drop down into the tile which is safe now, which should be the front or the back, but look out for how many safe spots there are. Of course, if it was the healers who got the first blue mark, they are already down, and it will be the tanks who have to move to the corners with the blue mark. Make sure to now move back into the middle and grab some AoE heals, because rate-wide damage will be happening. After the tumults, Titan will then start to destroy again one of the quarters of the map. This is followed by Megalith. Make sure the tanks stack accordingly and mitigate it. Following that, another quarter will be destroyed. You need to adjust on the fly now in order to resolve the next mechanic. Every gamer will get a marker now. 4 stack marker, 3 spread markers and 1 blue marker. Make sure to be in the corner with the blue marker and make sure to have a dedicated spot for the stack marker. Here are 2 pictures of possible patterns. This again is just followed by big rate-wide damage. Make sure to heal as necessary. After all of this, Titan will cast Orogenesis. He basically gives birth to himself. Yeah. Anyway, we were around 28% on the HP bar at this point, but we'll get into the third phase now. After Baby Titan is back again, he will cast Earthen Fury, but it will also apply a damage over time effect to everyone. Make sure to heal this appropriately, it really does hurt. We will now also encounter the last new mechanic of this fight. So once you learn this mechanic, you are basically done with the fight and you'll be able to defeat Titan. I'll start off by showing you this GIF on how you have to handle this phase and what's about to happen. First off, few tiles will light up orange, which are of course unsafe, and from there on, they will rotate clockwise, making the tiles unsafe. For the first part, the healers and the tanks need to be in the inner circle of the arena. You can also have the 2 melee DPS there for optimal uptime as shown in the video. Ranged DPS go outside and dodge accordingly. The rule is go into one of the previous blue fields and you will be safe. This does not apply to the melees around the boss because it just rotates clockwise and there's always one unsafe field. So make sure to just watch the clip and understand how this works. The reason why we have the tanks and healers in the middle is because they're gonna get a stack mark, while all DPS will get a spread mark. This is very important because soon you will encounter the same mechanic but the other way around. So this is basically to pre-position yourself and not worry about the upcoming markers. After this mechanic is done, you'll just have dual Earthen Fists again, just like before, followed by heavy AoE damage. Make sure to really mitigate and heal this as needed. You basically now have seen every single mechanic of the fight. It's now basically a rinse and repeat of all the mechanics we've seen. The only difference is again that we'll now have the merry-go-round mechanic, but with healers on the outside, DPS stacking and tanks taking the positions of the melee DPS before. That's basically it. After that, you'll just have lots and lots and lots of AoE damage followed by another tank buster, and then again the same merry-go-round mechanic but like it was before, so with the healers inside with the tanks and the range outside. Then again you'll have one Earthen Fist, and from there on it's only raid-wide damage. I'm gonna leave, of course, the video now running until the end because I don't want to cut out anything. And I think the healer POV here is the most interesting one to see how they are healing through the Enrage cast, in my opinion. Anyway, to give my personal opinion on this fight, I think it was a very, very fun fight. The first phase is actually kind of a gatekeeper. It has lots of mechanics compared to the second phase in my eyes. The DPS check is very, very tight. From what I've heard, most groups got stuck on the DPS check, not on the mechanics, because they are not too hard once, of course, you know how they work. They're pretty simple to execute. But overall, the DPS check of the Titan fight is very, very rough. So if you're hitting a wall, make sure to get better gear, like full crafted gear right now in week 1. Otherwise, you have to improve your gameplay or possibly change your composition. Then again, I personally cleared on Dancer and Samurai, 2 of the more weaker jobs considered by the community, and we were just fine in the end, right? So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this guide. It was quite a lot of work, and I hope it helps you clear, because that's of course the initial goal of this guide. I want to say thank you to, of course, my static members who gave me their POVs and made this guide possible, basically. And of course to them helping me out a lot with regarding mechanics and everything like that. So yeah, big shout out to my group Mental Boom. And overall, thank you guys for watching. If you did like the guide, make sure to leave a comment, anything. If you guys have any feedback on what I can improve on, let me know. Alright, that's my most important thing. Let me know what I can do better for the next time. And I hope you guys are gonna clear, and I'll see you boys around.
Mine.
Yep. Let's fucking go.
Go, push.
Go.
Go, push.
Come on. This is gotta be it.
Come on, boys. This is it, boys. Come on, boys.
Press your buttons.
Press.
Oh! Fucking did it!
Let's go!
Fucking right.